Going live? We're live.
We're live, baby. Hey, what's up, people already in the chat? What's going on?
Hey, everybody. Welcome back.
We formulated ourselves a nice concoction of old fashions for the session 2 of our Doom Patrol.
That's right. It was an early idea to try to... we're well into this long day. We had hoped to kind of craft a drink, to correspond with whatever it is we're talking about. But the first day we were snowed in, so we just went with whatever was in my fridge.
Yeah.
And today we've just been on kind of an old-fashioned kick.
That's right.
Because we recorded some previous episodes featuring a look at Mr. Miracle.
Yes.
And that was the artist of Mr. Miracle, Mitch Jared's drink of choice.
You bet it is. Hey, what's up, everybody in the chat? Hopefully everyone has their drinks in hand. Hopefully, Langley, you finished the reading.
I don't care about the quad, Langley. Get in there.
Oh, man. So what a read this one was, huh?
That's right. Do we want to dive right in? We usually give, a 4-minute buffer.
Yeah, I'm just going to, give it 5 minutes to get people on here.
We'll just chat. We're good at killing time.
Hey, Warren says hello.
Oh, good. I've said hello to him. It's my son. He's 3. He can't type.
Very
he can
good,
find
Langley.
a W.
Oh, that's very good.
I doubt he typed that.
Okay, OJ, my old-fashioned recipe is pretty standard. Today, I used simple syrup. I usually use regular sugar, but I was in a pinch. So I used simple syrup, a few dashes of Angostura, and then I used Templeton rye for the whiskey. And I skipped on any cherries or anything, but I got some orange rind in here.
What's this? What's this black speck that I just fished out of my drink?
Secret ingredients, Dave.
Oh,
probably
boy.
from that odd knife I used to cut that orange.
Or just some of the random dog hair that's constantly floating around my house.
Yeah.
Could be.
Mm-hmm. But otherwise, it's pretty good stuff.
Yep.
That Templeton rye is going home with me, Dave, P.S.
Oh, I see. I pay for your dinner and you don't even leave me the Templeton rye.
You know what that dinner did to me.
Yeah, I have a feeling I'll know throughout this entire episode. So, we each took a day or a half day off work. We recorded a little bit of a backlog of Imperious Rex episodes.
Yep.
Covered the Watchmen feature film adaptation where we shared our thoughts.
Yep.
Extensive as they may be. And then we recorded a Mr. Miracle episode, which was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just kind of turned on the cameras and just kind of BS'd about the current state of comic book to television adaptations, which was really good. Real free form.
That's right.
Live.
That's right. Right off the cuff. Felt good, Dave. Felt like we were real people again.
It did. We didn't have to plan or anything. We just went right into it.
Yeah. All right, what do we got? 7:03.
You think we're good?
You guys want to just jump right into Doom Patrol right now?
I think we should.
I
think we should. I don't know how many more people are going to be joining us.
That's okay.
This is in-depth reading. This isn't for everybody. This isn't for the masses. These are for the select few that take it upon themselves to dive in to the ambrosia that is
wow, you're
Grant
really
Morrison's secret sauce.
Talking this up.
I just kept going. Nobody stopped me.
I'm stopping you right now.
All right.
So,
look at this Doom Patrol shirt. I don't think anyone caught it last episode, but there is one. And I'm wearing it.
I went for Stranger Things myself as the best character that I now cannot think of the name of. Steve Harrington. World's best babysitter. Okay, so this reading selection for session 2 covers issues 35 through 50.
That's right. The second chunk of our Doom Patrol reading.
Yes,
book club.
It introduces a few more prominent characters in the Doom Patrol lore.
That's right.
With Danny the Street and Flex Metallo himself. Oh my goodness!
Wow, what a time.
It follows up on previous arcs with Lodestone being in that coma. It follows up a little bit on that. And then throws a little bit more in the mix. A little more fun things in here.
That's right. And we're going to be just shooting free and loose today because it's been a long day. Hasn't felt long, but I think we're both reaping the repercussions of it. So our notes aren't quite as extensive. So this is an opportunity for those that are chatting in and joining us in this mysterious book club to
Yeah.
share some thoughts and keep the conversation going. And we also are hoping to find some time to chat a little bit about the adaptation on the DC Universe app.
Yeah.
So we're 2 episodes in at this point,
Mm-hmm.
not counting the Doom Patrol's inaugural appearance in Titans, but
Yep.
we thought that would be worth mentioning since we are in the Doom Patrol book club right now. Let's talk about the the comic to screen adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
But
Chop that up near the end there.
that's right.
But first, I just want to dive right into what Langley was saying in the chat. He's saying he's a little bit tired of the Doom Patrol tropes in these 2 volumes.
Yeah.
And I think we agree wholeheartedly on that opinion. I felt like this read was a lot harder than the first 2 volumes.
Yeah. So this one, it felt like there was maybe 4 main story arcs, and they were a lot more intensive than the previous ones.
Yeah, at least 2 out of the 4 were.
Yeah.
At the very least, anyway.
These were more long form storytelling.
Yeah.
To the point where like some stuff was kind of like established in one in a bit of a prologue, and it didn't even come into full fruition until the following story arc, where you had to be like, okay, so what happened like 6 issues ago?
And with the way Doom Patrol is, where they just throw everything at you and it's all kind of like gobbledygook or whatever, and you're supposed to keep all this weird lingo straight, it's kind of hard to remember what he was talking about in a previous arc. Because usually I don't mind.
What gobbledygook do we need to remember on this one?
Yeah, exactly. So usually I don't mind all that kind of stuff if they're setting things up for a slow burn.
Yeah.
But
it's an overabundance of gobbledygook.
Yeah, a chunk of the time I'm just like, I just want to know about this little gobbledygook here. I don't care what's going on right now.
Right. So I think we're both probably referring to the kind of like the weird preambles that occurred before the Insect Mesh War storylines.
Yeah, the Lost in Space arc.
Yeah, which involved like the Pentagon lead up, the bizarre sugar tongs.
Yes.
All that stuff that we just got like these bizarre little hints at.
Yeah.
And those were the things I wanted fleshed out more. And by the time we finally got to those in the Flex Metallo arc, I'd kind of forgotten or mixed them up along with the weird insect war storyline.
Yes, for 100%.
So that was my biggest complaint. This was still fun, but I feel like the Grant Morrison weirdness is kind of wearing thin at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see how the third chunk suits us.
Yeah. So taking this one at face value compared to the previous one, I felt like the previous one was a little more straightforward. Yes, they threw in a lot of odd things here and there, but I think Morrison said like, okay, now I want to see how much I can get away with.
Yeah.
And I felt like that Holy War arc was a hard read, and not the one after I think the last arc in the reading too was a bit of a tiresome read for me as well.
With the reemergence of the Brotherhood of Dada.
Yes. Yeah. I like some parts in them, but as a whole, like they never compared to the introduction of Danny the Street and the Muscle Bound arc.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. So we agree there's like 4 main points that we're going to cover.
Yes.
With a couple little fill-in pieces.
Yeah.
One of which is amazing. And if you've read this, I hope you know what I'm talking about. The Beard Hunter is a takeaway of this chunk. It might be the best in the reading. But let's go from the top.
Okay.
So we're going to kick off with what's the first arc?
The first arc is like an introduction to Danny the Street.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Reel me in here, Troy. So we get Danny the Street.
Yep.
The sentient transvestite street, an actual street.
Yes.
That this character is phenomenal, by the way.
Yes.
It is a mobile street that is the home to many manly shops, like hardware stores and gun shops.
Yeah.
But it is a transvestite, so it dresses it up in like frilly lace curtains and like lights and all this stuff, which is just the most bizarre idea you could possibly imagine.
Yes. And So I've never read Doom Patrol up until now. So this is a character that you always hear about that's like a big deal and everybody loves. But I can never picture in my head how the hell that could work at all.
What does this look like?
And when it finally showed up and you got the gist of what's going on, I'm like, oh, I love this idea.
Yep.
I'm in 100% on Danny the Street.
Yes. Yep. And then, okay, so this is where we get the Men from Nowhere.
Yes.
And what is the sitcom style family man?
Darren Jones.
Darren
the
Jones.
most normal man in the
Yes.
world or whatever it is.
Yes. Apologies. I'm coming off a cold, so there may be coughing and it's too far to mute. But yeah, he walks into this typical like suburbia, almost like 60s sitcom set where his wife is bending over backwards for him.
Yeah.
And he is like just appallingly abusive to her.
It's the most upsetting thing I thought the whole book.
Yes. To the point where he blinds her with like like
a pitchfork, like
Yes.
a little meat fork or whatever.
Yes.
It is. Yeah.
And through the entire thing, they have a laugh track that like they push a button. And I'm assuming this is just kind of, Morrison kind of critiquing the norm, at that time, the normies, how they
Sure.
how they operate,
Yeah.
and how the Doom Patrol is what they view as, freaks.
Yeah.
Even though this guy is obviously 100 times more detrimental to
Yes.
society than any member of the
God.
Doom Patrol.
I liked the fact that also he enters his house and then his wife's like, "You just made it home. I just made skinless soup." And then he's like, "Where's the laugh track?" And let's do that again.
One more from the top.
Comes back in with the laugh track on and like hits her.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, this guy is a monster.
Yeah. Have you seen Natural Born Killers?
No, I have not.
All right. Well, there's a moment. Anyone out there seen Natural Born Killers? Where there's a segment where the main character, her father is Rodney Dangerfield.
Okay.
And when they flash back to her upbringing, it is very much that. It's this like 60s sitcom where he's horribly abusive and they just keeps throwing that laugh track in. And it's just like the dichotomy there is so off-putting.
No thanks.
And I think this came out before Natural Born Killers.
Oh, okay.
So once again, Morrison kind of like beats
Leading the
everybody, to the punch.
And then it goes almost insult to injury because then she has like those springy eye glasses on.
Yes, because he's
like,
blinded her, so now she's bandaged and wearing like goofy goggles.
And like bumping into the walls and stuff now while that laugh track is still playing. And I'm just like, I've never felt worse for anybody in anything.
I shouldn't be reading this. I feel like I'm an accomplice to something. But yeah, this guy is like kind of a sleeper agent for the Men from Nowhere.
Yeah.
To eliminate, seek out and eliminate anomalies, like weird
absurdities and stuff like that.
Exactly, because everyone should be normal.
Yes.
And Danny the Street is top on his list, and right below it is the Doom Patrol.
Right, and only because Danny the Street is transvestite.
Yes, yep, that's it.
That's why he has his number.
Yep.
It's like, Jesus, this guy.
Yep. So he, so this is something that I thought was a little weird, but the whole book's weird, so what the hell?
Yeah.
His Men from Nowhere that he sends out are different from the Men from Nowhere that occur later.
Yeah.
These are like the cheap imitation Men from Nowhere.
Yeah.
But does it matter?
I don't think it does, because I never paid any attention to that. And when I was going back through a wiki to see if like I missed something, they were talking about like how these are like imitation Men from Nowhere or like a lesser version. I'm like, oh, all right, I didn't pick that up ever.
Okay. Are these the ones that have the weird construction
Yeah,
site?
I thought they were designed amazingly.
Yes.
I love the design.
Yeah,
of
they
these
have like the
guys.
wrecking ball eyes.
Yes.
And everyone's kind of like off a crane hanging off their head.
Yeah, that was good.
So we were talking about super Morrison tropes. I think a couple people might have mentioned it in the Slack already, but every single villain of this entire reading could be described as tall figures in cloaks with weird heads.
Yes, that's every single one.
Yeah, to the point where, like, okay, man, like, get something else, Morrison. And I read The Invisibles multiple times before this, And the majority of the villains in that, weird guys in tropes with weird heads.
Yeah.
So now it's kind of tarnished that a little bit for me, because it's like, shit, man, in this era, that is all Morrison had at his disposal.
Yeah.
Like, come on, pick a different
Can you imagine
antagonist.
his script is just like, and another figure draped in robes, his head, an odd figure you've never seen before.
A geometrical design beyond comprehension.
Except in a weird, charming Scottish accent.
Yes. And then his artist is like, yep, the number 2.
You got it, buddy.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's the villains in this are interchangeable. It's not really the point. It's kind of their what brings them to their motives. But I could go for a little bit of a different character design on some of these.
Same.
They're all inventive, but they're still all kind of out of the same storehouse.
Yes.
To the point where it's like, okay, what else you got?
Yeah, and I don't know if that was Morrison's choice or if it was the artist's choice, because the artist has been through Morrison's run all the way so far. I don't know if Morrison's like, come up with a villain. Doesn't matter what he looks like.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got something. I'm great at drawing cloaks.
Morrison has been eating up my cloak design. Let me throw in a weird head.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, so we're getting a little bit of a chat here. Let's see. We get the best villain sidekick ever, Clanky. Yeah, we're getting to Clanky.
We'll get to Clanky.
Don't you worry. As long as he's got his razor. Along with Grant with his alien abductions and all that. Yeah. Joel's on here, your co-host of
the review co-host. JT's on here asking me, don't forget to plug my show. Hey, if you're watching, you're watching Imperious Rex. Gotcha, JT. Also, check out our Thursday review of Paddington 2 on Review Podcast. Family-friendly February is the theme for, February. Paddington 2 made one of my top movies of whatever last year was, 2018.
But enough about that. So the men from nowhere attack Danny the Street, which is migrated in the presence of the Doom Patrol, essentially. And the men from nowhere are attacking. The Doom Patrol arrive.
Yes.
Easily defeat them.
Yes.
And also encounter a heavily bearded, slightly out of shape and disheveled Flex Metallo.
Yes.
The man of muscle mystery.
Himself.
Yes. This is our first appearance of old Flex. And I didn't realize this was him until
I didn't either.
Unveils his identity.
Yeah.
But I knew it was coming, and I knew it was in this chunk, so I was prepared. But I was not expecting him at this juncture.
I was so happy when he showed up.
Oh my god!
A good thing to mention in this too is that if you stare into the Men from Nowhere sleeves, you get transported into the Tea Room of Despair.
Oh yeah,
which happens to Crazy Jane in this, but she absorbs all that despair and fucks with the guy's head, and his head explodes, and she comes out and she's like, that was pretty cool, wasn't it?
That. Another one for Crazy Jane.
But that also comes up later when we'll double back to Flex Metallo stuff too.
Yes.
What else? Oh, do you want to talk about the Delirium box? They kind of bring it up in this, that Darren Jones character makes that weird box. You can't tell if it's a cube or a corner.
Yeah, I did
idea,
like that.
But I don't think it really goes.
It didn't seem to have any payoff other than it backfired on him and transported him into, was it Danny the Street's perpetual cabaret? Is that what it was?
Well, Danny the Street opens up a hole where it sucks him into the bottom of the cabaret, and then when the lights flip on, he's dressed all in drag.
A bunch of drag queens just ambush him, and that's that.
And then he goes home only to see that his boss finally showed up, and now he's embarrassed in front of his boss that he's dressed all in drag.
It's totally a steamed hams. Principal Skinner and Superintendent Chalmers scenario there. If you're wondering and haven't tuned in before, I've picked up our reference book, our read-along guide, which is Grant Morrison, The Early Years by Timothy Callahan, put out by Sequart Organization.
Yes.
Great reference. Excellent thing to read along with, and gives you a nice recap as you go through these just consciousness expanding issues.
Yes.
And gives you a little bit of background into the reading.
Mm-hmm.
But, something like this, there's not a whole lot of background in it. It's pretty surface level.
Yeah.
And it's just weird.
It's weird for being weird. Yeah.
So I'm kind of, glimpsing through this as well. But there isn't a whole lot more to say on this until we get into the next arc, I guess.
Sure. Just to preempt before we get into that one, at the end of this Danny the Street arc, Lodestone, now known as Rhea, or is that her name the whole time?
Ray.
Anyway,
yeah,
she awakens in her new form.
Yes,
as like this faceless nude,
a nude,
entity.
Faceless, floating entity with a giant third eye on
and
her
chest. And a fourth eye on her back.
Yeah. She's got the lower back tat.
Yeah, right.
Because she is in sort of a butterfly stage, so she's got that space where the butterfly tattoo would normally be.
Is it in her chrysalis form?
Yeah.
Great.
The pupa stage.
Yeah.
She's blossomed into the butterfly.
That's right.
Yes. Metamorphosis.
Perfect.
Great.
Great.
And they're also interested in the Ouroboros.
Yes.
Or Rebus.
Yes.
Negative Man.
Yes.
Who is a bit of an anomaly for them, and they're interested in, by them, I mean these alien observers that are kind of watching this entire thing,
mm-hmm.
and they're interested in snatching him up too, because he's this odd duck that they want to learn a little bit more about.
So that brings us into this, we're calling it like the Holy War, the Alien Holy War kind of deal.
Yep.
This one was not one of my favorites. Anyone else in the chat feel the same about this arc? Because this, I could go on forever about it because I took a ton of notes because I can't remember anything that was going on in it. And I needed a lot of substance to make me remember. But it's mostly just what things are called, more or less. Because it's a fairly simple story, and it only went on for 4 issues, but it felt like it went on for 4 years.
It felt like it was at least 6 to 9
Oh
issues.
My God. It took forever for me to sludge through this one.
So I think one of the biggest detriments to this was the character Huss, I think.
Yeah.
Where every line of dialogue he had, he would give a word and then negate it by saying stroke and then give a simile to that word.
Yes.
Where he's like, it's challenging, stroke, impossible.
Yes.
And that was such a chore to read. To the point where like I was trying to like get ahead of this and skip that.
Yeah, me
but
too.
I never could. And then I just wound up like taking longer on it. I'm like, this sucks to read.
And I didn't even really figure out like how to read it well until like an issue into it. And I'm like, this is a chore, and I hate every second of this guy's stupid face.
Yeah. Yep. So these aliens capture Rhea. Jury's still out on that. Anyone chime in. What is it? Give us a phonetic pronunciation.
Yeah.
Your thoughts. We'll pull the room at the end. They capture her in this weird twisted circus. Which I thought that was cool, but it was only like a quick issue, and then we blasted off into this parallel universe where there were 2 warring factions for no real reason. They were just at conflict to have conflict, it seemed like.
Yeah.
And we learned a little bit more as it progressed, but it was a long-form story in terms of what is actually happening here.
Yes, yeah.
You didn't know what it was about until the end. And then by the end, and when you got the full story, you're like, okay, that's clever. But I wish I would have known it going in so I could appreciate it more. And I didn't just waste like 4 issues wondering what is going on. Can it get to the point?
For sure. So it ends up being, it's kind of like this, like protect the flag kind of a thing. There's this holy relic of this flower of knowledge and life.
Yes.
Or something to that effect. And it's actually a snipping of the tree of knowledge.
Yeah, from Garden of Eden.
Yeah, from the Garden of Eden or whatever. So, like, the alien beings had this flower, and it it didn't ever like let them be creative. It only let them be confrontational, and that's the only reason why they're warring back and forth. And once they get to the end where they get stuck in like this weird, that's not parlay, but I wrote
No,
it
it
down.
is a bit of a yeah. That's what I was thinking. It was like some ancient
a potlatch.
A potlatch where one tribe would give up something essential to them, and then the other tribe would have to give up something essential to them, and they would go back and forth
One up each other.
Yeah, until one has nothing left to give.
Right.
So they essentially like get rid of their entire armies and everything they have in terms of power, just to kind of like show the other one, I'm better than you. I don't need this stuff. But for no reason. And this was instigated by Rebus, who's just like, why don't you guys do this?
I dare you.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, while all that's going on, Rhea ends up taking that flower out of the Judge Rock,
which is an angel, a fallen angel from heaven.
It's got some weird Zanzibar type of name. I don't remember what it is.
Morrison scatters in like this Christian mythology right into, all the other crazy Dadaist and experimental fiction, just as if it's, one and the same.
Right.
And says that it was an original flower from the Garden of Eden, and this angel was cast down. And it created this world, but because it couldn't conceive like independent thought, all it could do was, or it couldn't conceive creative thought, all it could do was create a conflict between these two tribes.
Yes.
So, I mean, it was a lot, it was much ado about nothing, to quote Mr. Bill Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, I don't even remember how it ends. What happens?
So Cliff ends up planting the flower, and then it grows into this like tree, which binds their universes together. And then they decide to create a large tower, and it's like as a monument to.
They do. They create a makeshift Tower of Babel.
Yes.
So we all know how well that worked out in the Bible. So they try again, but it's not looking very good for them.
Yeah. A few things that they did do in this that they kept cutting back and forth to what's happening on Earth. And Dorothy has shaved Flex Metallo a la Namor in Fantastic Four #2.
Yep.
Where it's like, you were under there the whole time. Look at you.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. But every time they went back to that, I'm like, just talk about Flex Metallo.
Give me some Flex.
Just talk about Namor for all I care. I don't
anything other than the insect mesh.
Or whatever other gibberish they have on here, like geomancers, orthodoxy of the insect mesh, kaleidoscape,
anathematicians,
anathematicians, yes, of the cage, like all of that stuff. I'm like, oh my god, I don't care about this.
It's too many weird terms and terminology to keep straight. Like they all just run into each other.
Yeah, but Mr. Christmas is introduced in this, which comes back. Like in the last arc.
Is that Harry Christmas?
Harry Christmas. Yeah. He's kind of just dabbled on in this a little bit, so you have to figure out what's going on with him later. Robot Man gets some spider legs.
Gets an upgrade. I love the spider legs.
I guess.
Yeah.
And I think that is about it for that arc. But
other than the peppering of the foreshadowing on what's to come.
Right. And then Rhea pulls a poochie and goes off to her home planet.
Yes, very much. Gonna go explore the magnetism of the universe.
Right, or whatever. There's a star I want to look at. See ya.
Yep.
Anyway, so that was that arc. Not my favorite whatsoever.
I would say the weakest of his runs so far. And it kind of like, that is essentially the story. They're fighting about nothing.
Yes.
Like the whole point is this is drawn out nothingness.
Yes.
And I get it, but I don't need 4 issues of that that feel like 7.
Right. But that brings us into one of my favorite arcs in this.
Yeah.
The muscle-bound arc. Flex Metallo rearing his perfect bod into
sculpted bod.
Doom Patrol. Oh my god, I was waiting.
Do you want to put on the shorts?
You
got the shorts?
I do have them in my car.
Of course. I assume they're always nearby.
I got the shorts and boots in my car. I got the full on gamble in there. But yeah, anyway, I was waiting for this arc ever since I knew that Flex Metallo was going to be introduced in it. And the funny thing is, the actual trade cover to this, the Boland art, I think I was telling you this like a week or so ago, that I always would see that cover of Flex of him like squatting over the Pentagon and all the other stuff.
Yep.
And I'm like, what is this book that this guy's just teabagging the Pentagon? And why do I see it online? Every comic shop I go into is just proudly displayed. What is this book?
And then when you read it, you're like, I still have no answer.
Exactly. But I still love that trade.
Yeah, I've got that issue framed right there.
Oh, such a
grabbed it at Books A Million for $1 in like one of their just random discount bins.
What a find!
Yeah, I know.
Woo!
I didn't even read it until now, and I read it, and I'm like, that's a fantastic issue. I'm glad.
I bet it was.
So yeah, that was great, and it was right in spirit with the Flex Metallo miniseries, which we've read multiple times and reviewed last year. Great precursor.
Yes, yeah. The last time we read it for the show is when I really got into it quite a bit, and so much so that we had to do like a whole funny intro to the whole thing. Though that intro alone is worth the episode alone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. So we get the origin of Flex Metallo.
Yep.
From a scrawny weakling on the beach to a muscle-bound man.
Yes.
Man machine. And there's just so many weird, ridiculous, like Silver Age tropes that he throws in there that are just so much fun. I wish I snapshotted so many of them as I read it, and I don't have any of them with me here. But do you have any favorites that spring to mind? Some of his characters. The Fact appears in there, which pops up later in the Flex Metallo series.
I wish I could remember like the actual heroes that he mentions in this, because I like that he joined up with them only on Sundays to have like fun adventures and stuff.
Yeah. Here's really a couple. Dr. Saucer, the Zipper, Atomic Pile, Mr. 45.
Atomic Pile?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yep.
What does Flex feel about chocolate?
I'm assuming too many calories.
Probably
too many
totally
calories.
So get out of here, Joshua. We don't need your chocolate over here.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so it starts out with like another origin. Well, I guess an origin for Flex.
Yep.
Where it's the same as like what we did on when we actually reviewed Flex, only with like a little embellishments here and there. Is that he was a weakling on the beach.
Yep.
He was tired of getting kicked around. And so we found like this Charles Atlas-esque type of
shady dude in
a men's room.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. And he said, mail this coupon into the third mailbox of the 9th day of the month. And so
I'll gamble a stamp.
Yeah, exactly. So he mailed it in. He got this muscle mystery book for men or whatever it was. Did the whole pump up routine, went back to the beach, kicked that guy's ass.
Yep.
And now he ditched the tramp, and now he's only out to do good as Flex Metallo, the man of muscle mystery.
Yeah, and I love how his powers are so ill-defined. Reading the title and then reading the book, you have no greater understanding about what he does.
No, I love it though.
Yep, it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
So he's haunted by this traumatic event that happened to him involving the Pentagon and the strange geometry of that that architecture.
I've written down the geometry of anguish.
Yes. Yeah. So they have like mind wiped him essentially, and he's been kind of like living in exile, trying to sort out his life and figure out what happened to him. And then he kind of reconvenes with the Doom Patrol. They clean him up, and he's trying to kind of figure out what they can do to stop this atrocity going on.
He also got captured by the men from nowhere and was absorbed into the Tea Room of Despair. And when he got out of there eventually, I don't think they ever say how he got out, but he lost his memories. Yeah. So not only could he not remember what happened, he also lost a bit of his power as well.
More and muscle mystery.
He has more mysteries, but less muscle.
Exactly. A lot more beard, too.
Oh,
he's a spitting image of Alan Moore in the cover.
See, that's what I thought they were trying to make a dig at Alan Moore around this time, but I don't think it was. But who knows? So, and anyway, while he escaped, he ends up growing a beard, wandering the earth as a man would, and he
Bruce
ends up
Banner type of or Kane from Kung Fu.
ends up on Danny the Street, which he end up living on for a while until he runs through the Doom Patrol again.
I like that Danny the Street is like the safe house for all these misbegotten people out in the world. Like these weirdos just kind of gravitate towards Danny the Street.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
It then cuts to a bit of what's going on actually at the Pentagon, where General Honey and Sergeant Washington are traversing the underbelly of the Pentagon, where Honey gives Sergeant Washington a bit of a explanation of what's going on down there.
There are so many unbelievable conspiracy theories running rampant within Morrison's Doom Patrol of all this stuff just lurking beneath the surface.
Yeah, but their main goal was just to eradicate the irrational. Mm-hmm. And for them to do that, they really had to take a deep dive into the absurd to get there. Into like this whole ant farm that was going on underneath that was just this continually being added onto machine. That was supposed to work so perfectly that it does something. I'm not sure what it did, but it's all being kept watched by the switchboard operators. And some more men from nowhere, I believe. Yeah,
it all kind of blends together there. But I know like the ant farm is almost a snapshot of this famous painting from way back when, you know, one of the centuries before. If anybody knows, throw it in the chat there. So much so that I think they even like cut out and pasted like the workers right on top of the actual painting, or at least a facsimile of the painting, because it looks very cut and paste. But yeah, it's a hive mind. It is Morrison's trope of like eradicating any uniqueness and making everything status quo, you know, the normal. So like the 5th or 6th run-in with this villain or this trope of villain, it gets a little tired, but you know, it is what it is. That's what Doom Patrol is, I guess.
I guess that's what we got, right?
Yeah.
So after all that's going down, a woman claiming to be Dolores, who is like the long lost love of Flex, because Dolores is now technically dead. She goes into that back room of things that like are lost and never found, and kind of just gets taken out kind of unconsequentially, like just happens and you're like, oh, okay.
And then she's brought back as like a puppet that disintegrates in front of Flex. Right when
apparently I guess it's not actually her. It's just like a fake version of her to like trick Flex into like being captured by the men from nowhere and going back into the underbelly of the Pentagon. Yeah, so who knows? So when she goes and gives him his costume back, which is just the Speedos and like the boots. And he goes to like Flex, but he still doesn't have his powers back. He doesn't know where they've gone to. And then the men from nowhere come back and they capture Dorothy and Flex, and then they end up going to the ant farm underneath the Pentagon. And where the Doom Patrol has to figure out how to break into the Pentagon to save them.
It's a heist, a regular heist.
And they're like, and Niles Calder is like, listen, I don't have the time or energy to think about how we're going to do this. And then somebody's like, Danny could get there. And so he just like zips in. And then Danny's just like in the underbelly of the Pentagon and like, okay, we're here now. It's just like that.
Langley says, what is traveling on Danny the Street like?
Oh my God. I can only imagine make me sick. Just the motion sickness up the wazoo. I can't even take the teacups at the carnival. I can't imagine what Danny the Street's like. I have to just saddle up to one of his fancy laced bars.
Hold on. So they get there. Dorothy and Flex are able to defeat the villain, which is this weird, cloaked, weird-headed figure that came into being at the birth of the first telephone. And it's this creature that like lives in the telephone lines. And Dorothy is able to summon like one of her evil personalities to defeat it.
I think it's a candle maker or something like that.
It is, it's a candle maker. And it kills whatever the creature is.
The Avatar.
The Avatar.
I thought it was very unoriginal, but that's what I kept finding.
Hangs him. He's hanged, hung. He's hung up. Telephone. Little pun there.
That was pretty good. That was like one of the last few lines. It looks like he's hung up. It's like, oh, Good pun.
Yeah. But that is
that ended with Seinfeld music.
But that is not taking into account that Flex Metallo does regain his powers.
Oh my god!
And flexes so hard that the pentagon changes shape into a circle.
It's amazing.
And that is how they're able to kind of like get the one up on him.
Yes.
I love that. I feel like we should have given more gravitas to that. But he literally flexes so hard that the pentagon changes into a circle.
He also finds out too that he was created from fiction from
Wally Sage.
Yeah, Wally Sage,
who pops up in Flex. Is a different character, but I guess the same.
I took it as kind of the same. Like I couldn't really, because if Morrison wrote both of these, is he kind of like retconning a little bit here and there, or is he taking liberties with whatever?
Yeah, exactly. It's not like he didn't know that there was already a pre-existing Wally Sage that he created.
Right.
Do you have anything more on that?
I don't think so. It has a lot to do with like the sugar tongs, but those are destroyed by.
Yeah, there's a lot of these weird little situation and circumstances that pop up leading into this. But I felt like the payoff was a little bit of a letdown for all this preamble that we got.
I mean, having the Pentagon being flexed into a circle is pretty great.
I mean, that's all
I wanted, really.
I guess. But they've made it seem like a lot more of a threat than it ended up being, I guess.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, everything's kosher. Flex is back to his old tricks, I guess, even though I don't think he's in the next arc.
I don't think he is either. But he's off like to be a crime fighter again, like a jolly good crime fighter fighting for the...
Throws on that trench coat, orders some eggs from the airport, and off he goes.
Off to a good start.
Yeah. So how are we doing so far, guys? The few that are keeping up with us in the chat, are you guys reading along? What do you think of this? Do you prefer the first chunk that we read or this one? Do you have any favorites? Light it up.
Yeah.
Just give us some class participation here.
Yeah. While you're doing that, why don't we just dive into our next like one-shot arc?
Oh man,
which is
might be the best of the entire.
It very well could be. The first was preferred by Langley. Agreed.
Courtney, get out of here.
What's a Doom Patrol? Courtney, quit trolling the chats. Okie dokie laughed out loud when he flexed the Pentagon into a circle, as you should. It is amazing. It's like chef kiss type material there. Beard Hunter, you got it, OJ. It's coming up right next. Yeah. Other than Flex, it was the first volume. Yeah. But there are some strong things in this, like Flex and Beard Hunter. I think are way more fun than and Danny the Street. I think are more fun ideas than what was introduced in the first chunk that we did.
Yeah, I think they're getting a little bit more, I don't want to say heady, but maybe weirder, if you could, than what we got in the first run.
Yeah.
But then we got all this.
Solid.
Yeah, exactly. The other ones felt like more like one and done type of adventures, and these seem to take a little bit more time and effort, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
But the payoff of some of these were really good, so I don't know what the trade-off would be.
Yeah.
Sam Anderson says, think flexing the symbol of the devil in the pentagram. Okay, so he's saying the pentagram is like a devil symbology, where the circle is like a halo. So Flex is going from good to evil, or evil to good, I guess. That's good. A circle is like a more organic form. You know, it's like Aurora Boreas, I think, is what it was.
Circle?
Rebus? Yeah, exactly. It's perpetually existing. You know,
the snake eating its tail.
Exactly. Yeah. Where a pentagram is this like weird architectural, many-sided.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. I think I grasp what a circle is.
All right, go on. Go on. You tell me what's what. Give me shapes.
Well, I know an octagon means to stop.
Good call. Sometimes
you've done good work here.
Yep. Take that home.
You want to jump into Beard Hunter?
Let's.
I'll let you take the floor because you were really chomping at the bit to get to Beard Hunter when I walked in today.
Okay. So the next one, we get a one and done, focusing on a disgruntled vigilante calling himself the Beard Hunter, which is very much a Frank Castle Punisher facsimile.
Ernest Franklin is his name.
That's great. He's so earnest.
Yeah.
He's targeting and eliminating people with beards.
Yes.
Who also shit talked his favorite comics. I think.
And like would fingerprint and smudge like pristine comics.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's going around town eliminating this threat, this bearded menace.
Mm-hmm.
And then going back to his home where he lives with his mother, who just makes passive-aggressive gay jokes to him.
Really digs at him, though.
Oh, my God. And then it says, like, he goes into the bathroom, like, with his men's magazines. And it's like, then even Morrison is making these digs at him. It's like, the guy likes what he likes. Get off his back.
Yeah, for real.
So that guy's a menace. He's going around. And what is the society that puts a hit on Niles Calder?
It is the Bearded Gentlemen's Club of Metropolis.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Metropolis.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Bearded Gentlemen's Club of Metropolis
Yeah.
contracts the Beard Hunter to kill Niles Calder because
he's just not deserving of the bearded. Like,
yes, he's like he's not. Yeah, that's very much it. He doesn't appreciate the beard.
Yeah.
So he goes to eradicate him in the supermarket, where Niles is, of course, out on a chocolate run. They get into a scuffle.
Niles must have been busy.
Joshua's out clubbing or something. And they get into a fight. Niles is able to get the upper hand, use some MacGyver science, and electrocute the Beard Hunter to death.
Yes. I also like, too, that he shoots the shopkeep first that's, like, assisting Niles. And he's like, you probably would have grown a beard. Yes. He looks like the type that would grow a beard.
Yes. And on his belt, he has beards. And
like beard belts.
Yes. This is so absurd. Oh, man, this was a good one. And then as the Beard Hunter reaches the pearly gates, he's met by, like, God, St. Peter, and a couple others, and they're all sporting very thick beards. And I think he's saying, like, I wish I had my gun.
Yeah. He, like, loses consciousness and, like, passes out because of the sight of all the beards.
Yes. Yes. So that's all that was. But it was a great little reprieve after. I wish it came after the Holy War one.
Yeah,
because it would have got me really into the flex from then on. But it was just a fun little one-shot.
As the last few panels is just Niles Calder munching on a chocolate bar, just waiting for somebody to get him back into his chair.
While I'm down here. Do you think he prefers something with, like, almonds, or do you think he's just straight chocolate?
I think he is a straight chocolate kind of guy. No nuts.
I think so too. Yeah. A nice Toblerone. Like some
Toblerone.
Swiss chocolate, or do you think he's like a milk chocolate, maybe a dark chocolate?
Oh man, my dad's a chocolate connoisseur.
Yeah,
he likes the dark chocolate.
I do too. I've gone to a dark chocolate myself.
I'm more of a milk chocolate guy.
Get out of here with that.
Sorry. Well, I'm not going to stay because I want to do the rest of this arc. But
good call. Sober up a bit before you drive home.
That's right.
Oh man.
So this last chunk mostly deals with the reemergence of the Brotherhood of Dada.
Yep.
There's more things thrown into the mix, but such as like Jane has a new personality that was the first time ever it was created because of love, rather than like chaos or hate, and that person is Liza Radley. And then Danny the Street takes Jane and Cliff to a place where everything is like serene, and actually can have like a nice chat of like how she's actually developing feelings for Cliff.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like a really nice slow moment that we really haven't seen yet in Doom Patrol. I kind of appreciated that a little bit. Yeah,
this book has been devoid of any romantic relationship,
and
it doesn't. I'm not sure if what Cliff and Crazy Jane have could be, qualified as romantic, but she has appreciation to Cliff since he, went into her psyche to pull her out of the underground there.
Right.
So yeah, I do like that kind of burgeoning possible romance.
Yes. And then it kind of starts with a character called Dr. Silence, where he acquires a painting, and it's the painting that we've already seen in the first few arcs, the painting that ate Paris was not long lost forever. Ended up in somebody's collection, and Dr. Silence got his hands on it. And when he unveiled it, he was he kind of knows about the mystery of this painting already, but then he just sees this little black dot grow and like spread all over the painting, and it kind of is driving him nuts because he doesn't know what's going on with it.
You think it's a reference to how Mr. Nobody originally came to be, where he's in that white chamber and he saw the black
never put
dot?
that together.
I didn't until just now.
That's a pretty freaking cool connection there.
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder if that was planned.
Probably not.
Well, anyway, it was pretty cool. But with that too, that's going on, and then you meet some other.
Before that, we have the shadowy Mr. Evans.
Oh, yeah. I'll go on with that, because I keep forgetting about this art completely.
This was such a weird, I think it was like 2 or 3 issues where it was just a sex-crazy arc.
Yes.
Where the shadowy Mr. Evans comes to be this weird dude with a fetus attached to an umbilical cord coming out from his trench coat, floating around. He has a small child assistant named... what is it? Somebody said it in the chat earlier. What's Mr. Evans' assistant's name? Who he's constantly calling and ridiculing. The kid has like legs made of tin, and he's persistently asking him to shave his palms. Come on, chat. What is it? You guys, someone said it earlier. What's the kid's name? Clanky!
Thank you.
Yes.
Clanky.
OJ. Nice work, OJ. Pulling your weight.
Chocolate bar for you.
They're all getting in there. You're all getting a chocolate bar. We're going to have some Imperious Rex chocolate bars made up.
We'll get Joshua right on it.
Yes. Clanky is his, like, subservient servant. And what is the deal with this guy? He has a periscope head that Clanky looks through. And he just goes about, like, reading poetry and like enticing the world to have like crazy carnal acts.
Yeah.
So much that Crazy Jane, her persona of the Scarlet Harlot, reemerges, and she becomes this blonde-haired tramp who is just putting it out there for everyone to
for free
to take a ride.
Yeah.
And it also ushers in the emergence of the Sex Men, this trio of blue-skinned, shaved-headed, ray gun,
like sex police.
Yes.
I don't know.
I have no idea, but we get like some classic Grant Morrison explanation as the world is just going sex crazy, and we get little snapshots of all this stuff going around.
Yeah.
And eventually, the shadowy Mr. Evans, who may or may not be Satan.
Yeah.
Like the original Satan from the Tree of Knowledge, the snake on the tree, all that stuff, is beaten because they trick him into reciting poetry to the theme of the Love Boat. And that is what blinks him out of existence.
Yeah, they kind of did a Mixel-Spitalik on him.
Yes.
Where they said to like recite these words backwards or whatever, and he did, and he's like, curse you! And then he like zips into his like little portal.
Yeah, I think like the penultimate word is kneecap. That'll do him. But yeah, that is such a weird arc that it's almost completely forgotten about.
Yeah, almost, because I completely forgot about it.
Mm-hmm. And then that takes us then to our last one with the reemergence of the Brotherhood of Dada, where Mr. Nobody gathers up a new group. I like this one more than the previous one. And emerges from the painting that ate Paris.
Yeah. Immediately dispatches Mr. Silence or Dr. Silence.
Yeah.
Who I thought was the best designed foe yet.
I liked him too. And he didn't have a weird head and he had a cloak, but
right.
And then he's gone.
Yeah.
Because he saw himself in a mirror and he has a bad pimple on his nose.
He's like,
it's like a Dorian Gray type of thing.
Yeah. But yeah, they have Mr. Exclamation Points or whatever. I like his ability that you don't pay any attention to him as he comes towards you, but then you talk about him behind his back.
Yes.
Like that's his power.
Yeah, what was it? It was like a turn of phrase that was his power. Go on while I look it up.
And then
the Love Glove.
Oh, the Love Glove. I loved the Love Glove.
Yes.
And I also love that he could take other gloves from this glove
tree that was in his dreams.
Have any other ability that he wants by these gloves. I thought that was a pretty fun idea.
What the fuck are we talking about here? Who's tuning into this? My wife is up there probably like, I'm watching the kids for this while you guys discuss the fucking Love Glove. Are you kidding me? And the other one was the Broken Mirror. What was it? I can't remember what it was called.
I can't remember what his name is.
But I did like the backstory. And I completely skimmed past it the first time I read it, and then I kind of went back and reread it.
Yeah.
And it was about a really narcissistic actress that was in love with her reflection. And as she got older, she got angry because the mirror was reflecting what she looked like.
Yeah.
To the point where she threw acid at the mirror and it burned her to death.
Uh-huh.
And then she shattered the mirror and it wound up in a junkyard, and then some small kid stumbled upon it, and that energy brought it to life as a physical being.
Yeah.
Your everyday supervillain stuff.
It's a very Dorian Gray type of deal where if you look into it, it ages you.
Yes.
Or at least takes your youth or something from it so it can continue keep living. I thought that was a pretty cool idea. But otherwise, it's just a reemergence of another Brotherhood of Dada. They don't really come into contact with the Doom Patrol, I believe.
Until the end. And they immediately defeat them again.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
The Dada Brotherhood is always besting them.
Yeah.
So much that Cliff even says, damn it, they beat us again.
Oh, that's true. By this point, because I wasn't really thrilled with anything after the Beer Hunter arc because it wasn't as fun. And so I was kind of skimming through the rest of it. And I was trying to pay attention as much as I could, but I'm I don't know about these last few because I'm just maybe I'm getting tired of it or what.
It could be.
But what do you think, chat? What's going on down there?
And also the exclamation point Brotherhood of Dada member. I can't find it in the book. I've had too many drinks.
I'm pretty sure it's just Mr. Exclamation Point.
Yeah, but what is his thing? People don't recognize, they don't pay any attention to him because he's something, not matter of fact, but something along those lines where it just happens, but people don't pay any attention to it.
Mm-hmm. But his appearance is
ridiculous.
Very weird.
Yeah.
Exclamation point on his face, a bird cage with a plane in it for his body.
Yes.
What is going on?
Some sort of cloak.
Yeah, he's got, I think, MC Hammer pants on.
Yeah.
It's
big grin. But yeah, yep. And their grand plan is they steal Hoffman's bicycle. Mm-hmm. And this is the Hoffman that first created LSD on accident and then rode around, I think, Switzerland on his bicycle. And it just went on this wild trip. So this bicycle is infused with LSD powers. So when Mr. Nobody hops on it and takes his trip around Europe, he's just spreading this LSD fueled madness, which is amazing.
Oh, he comes as no surprise.
That's it. Yep. Yeah. He comes as no surprise.
Very good, Ben.
So he just blends in. Very good, Ben Chambers. Nice work. 2 points.
2 chocolates.
They're fun size. But yeah, isn't that great? That's a good. Yeah. So nobody ever acknowledges him. He does something ridiculous, and they're like, "Well, it's no surprise." Yeah. Yes. Man, I'm glad people are joining in.
Yeah.
Worth it. Right there.
Very good. Our slack.
Yep. So the Doom Patrol arrive. They have a fight. They get their asses handed to them, and the Brotherhood of Dada escapes. They hijack a school bus. The Love Glove, after getting the Shove Glove, gets another glove that can let him rewire an engine. And they tune up the school bus now with the innards of Hoffman's bicycle. And they're getting ready to set off on a cross-country trip to spread madness throughout the country. And Mr. Nobody is set to run for presidency. And that is where we end.
Yeah.
What a book.
Yeah.
Is it good? Who knows? It's something.
It sure is. Oh, and we just nailed it right at an hour, too. We're still... stick around. We'll still talk about a little bit about the Doom Patrol show on the DC Universe app. But final thoughts on this chunk?
Yeah. As we've said multiple times, I don't think it was as strong as the first one. I think it had bigger ideas, but it wasn't as fun and new reader friendly as the introductory chunk that we read, the first third.
For sure. Definitely, this one had a lot more peaks and valleys, where I thought the first two trades were very level-headed and consistent, at least.
Yes.
I've heard that the last chunk of this gets more like a serious take.
Really?
More like an action-y adventure type of, not sprint to the end, but like a more of like a serious, not as an absurdist kind of take.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I'm excited to wrap it up. I've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed the Doom Patrol run because I haven't read it yet, and I've always wanted to. And at the same time, I'm ready to be onto something a little bit more concrete. And I'm sure some of our readers out there might be feeling the same way.
Yeah.
This was great. I think it was an interesting way to kick off the book club. And I'm saying that we still have a month of Doom Patrol left. And I do like it, but it is not my favorite Grant Morrison thing.
Right. Yeah. I feel like this is like the springboard of like Morrison doing like his own thing and really finding his own style and solidifying it to like more meta commentary type stuff.
It might be him seeing how far he can push it and just getting some of his like sowing his wild oats before really like fine tuning his message on what he wants to say.
Yeah, for sure.
This is like the experimental phase.
Yeah.
And it's very experimental. And also as this ends, this was the 50th issue.
Sam Anderson, Dane of the Street, not concrete enough for you, Dave.
Oh man,
that was very
That's
good.
not a bad pun, Sam.
That's very good.
You're doing the Lord's work out there. This issue ended with like a weird little hodgepodge of like single page like previous adventures with a variety of different artists. I didn't get anything out of those.
No.
Like they were just like, they're fine.
Yeah.
But it's nothing really worth discussing unless anyone feels differently. But it was just kind of like a artist showcase.
Yeah.
With a little bit of weird Morrison prose in there.
So why don't we dive into a little bit of what Doom Patrol's doing on TV?
Who's been watching the show?
Yeah, me. I'll raise my hand. I've checked out the first 2 episodes so far.
That's all there is.
I think it's pretty strong. I didn't watch the intro in Titans as you did, Dave, but I feel like it's a very strong showcase of these odd characters and the what am I trying to say here? The first episode,
Turquoise.
What's the first episode usually called? The pilot episode. My God, Dave,
Bus
losing
driver.
it is I think very strong.
Yeah. But I like the pilot more than the second one, personally.
But I felt like it's maybe throwing like in more adult stuff than what
is needed.
Than what is needed. Yeah. Like there's a lot of F-bombs in this. There's surprisingly a lot of sex in the pilot episode. Like there's 2 sex scenes in it, but they're fairly explicit. It shows full nudity.
Yeah.
And they're both with Cliff.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was
Brendan Fraser needs to get some action.
I guess he does. He hasn't been in the limelight for a while, but it shows that he's still got it. But I don't know if that was just to get like somebody watching this first time kind of hooked and like, oh, this is sexy and fun and adult. It's for me.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I'm puzzled that Jeff Johns is so involved in this. And like everything I've read from him is fairly like all ages, like his Doomsday Clock obviously is a little bit more mature, but to have his name on this and then have it immediately go like that mature, I'm like, is that like is that your end goal here? You want it to be that, that adult oriented?
OJ saying those sex scenes were a tad uncomfortable to watch with his kids. Same. My nearly 2-year-old was in there. She doesn't grasp anything yet, and I was still like, "Ooh, shit, get out of here."
Yeah. I watched it with my wife, and I felt awkward. No, it was. She enjoyed it, which surprised me because I was worried that this would be one I'd have to watch myself and I'd have to find the time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's new viewer friendly for the most part because it's so bizarre. You can't possibly have any like pre-existing knowledge of this property going in. So like she's at the same entry point as I am.
Mm-hmm.
Other than like I've read this, but that doesn't help me here. This is just weird for weird's sake.
Yeah.
So like we're all going in at the same level. And it's like, okay, it's a story about like broken, damaged people.
Yeah.
Kind of remade as freaks.
Yeah.
And trying to like carve out an existence in that.
Yeah. It lets you in at the ground level though. It doesn't have you. It's not like a huge learning curve or anything, which I found pretty great. Because I think my wife would like this too, but it's one that I am watching by myself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I watched the first 4 episodes of Titans, despite many people's warnings on this. I know our friend Langley was not a fan of it. I have to say, I didn't hate it. Maybe it was because I went in with very low expectations, and I'm not a fan of kind of like the by the numbers CW fare. So when I went into this and it was a lot edgier, darker tone, it was just something where I'm like, oh wow, I wasn't expecting that. So it kind of kept my interest. And the production value on this, the DC Universe shows in general, is really top notch. The director of every Titans episode I think I've seen so far has been by Brad Anderson, which is a kind of a horror mainstay. He did Session 9 and The Machinist, the one that Christian Bale lost all that weight for. So he's got like this filmography, and to hear that he did these, I was like, wow, that's surprising. But these are fairly well done. Like the scripting obviously leaves a little bit to be desired, but it's Teen Titans. What the fuck do you expect? So I went in not expecting much and came out like, yeah, I'll keep watching. And when I got to Doom Patrol, I was like, okay, this is solid. I like where this is going. I'm going to jump onto Doom Patrol. I'll watch Titans whenever. And then going into Doom Patrol, it's been really enjoyable. It's been more enjoyable than Titans. Anyway, it's a lot more of like a, you jump in, it's fun, it's goofy, it's weird. I'm more enticed to keep watching just to see where it's going.
Yes, same.
I like the casting, even though half of the cast is people in bandages or prosthetics.
Yes.
Hey, yo.
Hey.
What are you doing?
Check out this kid right here.
We got a sneak attack from the oldest of the Ghost Hunter Dave brood.
Whoa, check it out. Number 2 coming in hot.
And now we got the youngest. Come in here. Come here. Say hi.
You've made it to the internet. You're internet famous.
You've done it. Don't knock any of those cords over. We'll be right. Oh God, we got the dog too, and the wife. God,
this is tearing asunder.
Which one of these guys is your favorite? No, don't unplug it.
Vivek's pulling cords.
Look at those guys. Tell me which one's your favorite. Get out of here if you're gonna do that. All right, say hi to the world. Say hi to the people who pay the bills.
There you go.
Give them more money.
Yeah. All right.
Nope.
Toodaloo.
Nope.
All righty.
Nope.
Yeah. Yep.
Buddy, come on. We're working. Love you. All right. Last time I think I had to take one of them to the bathroom. This time they're just barging
Full
in.
on run in.
At least they're not urinating on anything. Oh,
Suddenly
family
appears like
sitcom.
Family sitcom.
Where's the laugh track as I blind one of them? So yeah, what'd you think of the cast on Doom Patrol?
I think the cast is solid.
Yeah.
I was telling you earlier, I think the one, I think Crazy Jane is the weakest point for me. But then again, like, I really liked a lot of stuff that she did in the second episode. So I don't know. But like, I really like Fraser as Robot Man. So far, Matt Bomer hasn't really done much as Negative Man yet. but I like him in general.
I get like a Dr. Manhattan vibe from him, like his very timid, like at ease tone of voice kind of brings to mind the cinematic Dr. Manhattan, which I kind of like.
Niles Calder is great.
Oh my God,
Timothy Dalton, you kidding?
Fantastic. Love him.
Yes.
Ever since Hot Fuzz, my lord. Forget James Bond. His Hot Fuzz is fantastic.
Yeah. See, Danger, Matt Bomer is a 10. Thank you. It's too bad that he's bandaged up the whole series.
Yeah, you get maybe 30 seconds of him. He was really good in American Horror Story, too, if you've seen any of that. I think he popped up in the Hotel season. It's quite good, and I'm sure he's in other things. But I really liked Crazy Jane, actually. I liked her more in the series than I think I did in the comic. And like the comic, I couldn't quite get a read on her. She was kind of this weird beatnik type of personality from that time period, like the late 80s, early 90s.
Pretty dated.
Yeah. Don't say that. But in this, I felt like, yeah, that encapsulates, kind of like, I get where she's coming from, I guess. I get like the personality or personalities that she is encompassing.
I think I'm flipped. I think I like her in the book more than I like her in the series so far. I find her just off-putting. I guess maybe because she's like the most angry. It's just cursing nonstop, and like that's all she's got going for her, really. Yeah. But I mean, she's got, a hard task in front of her. She's got to have like 60 personalities plus, that she's have to have at her disposal, maybe. So. And then the chat's also bringing up Cyborg, too. I actually liked Cyborg.
I did, too.
Yeah.
I want to see him go full Cyborg. Unzip that that track jacket.
Get that Adidas hoodie off.
Yeah.
But
was he in Titans? Chat? Was Cyborg first introduced in Titans? Because it really felt like it was kind of picking up from a previous appearance. And I'm not sure. I haven't gotten to it yet in Titans.
Oh,
no. So this was the first appearance. Did it feel like jarring? Like, should I know who he is by now? Or is it just me?
I don't know. Maybe not. It didn't feel jarring for me. I didn't really care. I guess I just knew he was going to show up sometime just from the promo material.
Yeah.
But I liked his characterization this. I thought the prosthetics looked kind of bad during the promo material, but as the second episode went on, I kind of fell into him and it didn't bother me at all.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
In that group photo,
I
was like, I don't know. Like, I didn't like that he's got his jacket on the whole time, but once I saw it like in action in the show, I was like, this looks really good. I think I like it more than Justice League.
I like it more than Justice League for sure.
Yeah.
He sucks in Justice League. I'm going to put it straight out. He sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else? Like, I like Robot Man. I like the whole gang.
Yeah.
I do not like the effect of Elasta Woman or whatever her name is, as we've talked about previously. I think that's like the weakest CGI of the series, but at the same time, it's like a weird effect to have to do. So I understand they have their limitations being on TV. I might have gone a different direction if it had been up to me than making like a weird, gross blob woman. But that's just me. But I don't mind her character. I just think they didn't quite get like the effect right.
Yeah. And Tudyk is great as everybody too.
I really like their visualization of him. Because obviously they're not going to make like straight out of the comic
that weird silhouette looking
like question mark type of character. I like his weird disembodied look, even though it's a little kind of janky looking. Like, it doesn't look great, but I can see what they're going for, and I like that idea.
Also like that he's fourth wall breaking and all that.
Yeah, he's essentially Deadpool.
Yeah, but I like that he's like narrating the whole thing, and he throws like a lampshade on like the ridiculous portion of it. So you're like, oh, so you get that you get what the audience is thinking. So
exactly,
really like
and he
that.
calls out Grant Morrison directly in it too. So it's like, the people watching this are Grant Morrison fans or this or this, which was fantastic.
Yeah, Langley's right on point saying we need to start Elastic Girl doing something other than just turning into the Blob, shrinking and growing. We need to do some of that.
Just that one weird foot that she gets, that club foot.
Is that your power, just to swing that thing around?
Yes.
You suck so far.
Yes, that is so gross. And we'll just like tape up this dish, this dishwasher glove. That'll stop you. and they squirt her into the donkey's mouth through a bag and a funnel.
Just having you say squirter is just the.
Is that really the best way to figure this out? I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah. So far, though, I think the show is pretty great. I'm going to stick with it. I mean, it made me buy the DC Universe app, so.
Yeah. Yep. And when I looked, I think there's like 15 episodes slated for this.
Oh, really?
Which seems to me to be way too many.
I thought it would be 10 maximum.
Yeah, I thought it would be like 6 for something like this. I thought it would be whatever Titans was, like cut in half. But the fact that it's like almost double that, I'm like, are you kidding?
They have more stars in this than they would have to pay out. You would think, oh, well, whatever.
They're all voiceovers, though.
Nah, that's true. They could all do it in a day and then just go home.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know how long this is running. I heard Swamp Thing is premiering in spring, but if it doesn't happen till this wraps up, that's still a ways off.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe our Swamp Thing book club might be further down the road, or maybe they overlap. Who knows?
We'll throw in a short one if it's a bigger gap or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
but I
Doom
guess
Patrol.
that's it. Yep, that takes us to the end of. This is pretty much right on point with what we were last week.
Mm-hmm.
Last month. Feels like last week.
Ooh, Russell joining the chat. 8:14 just woke up. Good job, Russ.
Russell, see you later. Thanks for joining. It'll all be in the playback.
Before we go, is there anything you want to ask? Anything in the chat? What's going on over here?
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're gonna.
Yeah, we'll give it like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Do some freewheeling Q&A, some chat. We're also thinking about doing our next Q&A as like a live Q&A. So anybody that wants to do that, we'll obviously accept questions and talking points prior to that, but maybe we get a little bit more group interaction actually and the live stream there.
Yeah. Ben Chambers, read any other newer Doom Patrol? We were just talking about that right before we started. If we read Jarred Ways.
Yeah, I
have not yet.
I read the first maybe 7 issues of Jarred Ways, and I enjoyed it, but I was lost.
Yeah, I heard it's way weirder.
It is.
How the fuck?
It's weirder than Morrison's, and I read it before reading Morrison's. So
Jesus.
As I'm reading this, like some of the blanks are being filled in,
Mm-hmm.
but it was still very odd. Like one of the weirder books I've read lately. The artwork is fantastic.
Yeah.
But it was really like behind schedule, and it was just hard to keep up on. It was one I read issue to issue, and I felt like I should be reading this as a trade because I don't remember what came before that. But I think we'll probably touch on it once we wrap this whole thing up because it's about the only other notable Doom Patrol run.
We got Buck and Langley asking about Umbrella. I have finished it. I think it's good. I don't want to spoil it for anybody out there who hasn't finished it yet, but I think the first season here ends pretty great.
Yeah,
because I know you haven't finished it yet.
No,
either,
I'm still early in. Me and my wife are juggling a couple shows right now. We're still like catching up on Preacher season 3, which I enjoy. But we're almost done with that, and then we're going back into Doom Patrol. So we're like at the beginning of, or not Doom Patrol. I'm sorry, Umbrella Academy. We're like 3 episodes in on Umbrella Academy and loving it. Really, really liking it. But I'm savoring it. But I like what they're doing with it. I like that they encapsulate some of the best moments of the comic, which we both love, and I like that they know when to kind of take it in a different direction.
Langley talking about reading Milk Wars, I could say it was yeesh. I kind of wanted to check that out because it sounded weird just for weird's sake, and I wanted to get to it.
Yeah, I've got it here.
Dave, did you read your copy of Immortal Hulk yet?
No.
It's too bad. It's great.
Got Milk Wars. Whoop, up there. What the hell is this? Looks like Midnighter is a priest. I don't know. Someday. I've only read the first issue of Immortal Hulk, and I loved it, but I think we're going to do it on an upcoming episode pretty soon. I did just get the second trade of it, though, so I've got a backlog now. Maybe we'll do the first 2 trades, or by the time we get to it, maybe like the first 3.
Nick, what do you think would be easier to? Do you think it'd be easier to read Morrison's Doom Patrol run if you started with the Silver Age stuff? I don't think so.
No, I don't think it matters.
From right before where we did our session 1, they like made a clean slate with that invasion arc.
Yeah.
And so he could start fresh and kind of do whatever. So we're all good. You don't need to back up on any of that stuff.
Yep. Okie dude. How was Evil Dead, Dave? Always great. One of my favorite. Evil Dead 2.
Need to ask.
Evil Dead 2 is like one of my all-time favorite horror movies.
Yeah.
So the kids loved it. The 3-year-old has been quoting good, bad, I'm the guy with the gun. That's from Army of Darkness, but we watched them both as you would. Johnny Athy checked out Deadly Class yet? We haven't. Neither of us have. And we talked about that in the episode that we recorded today. We're behind on that. I haven't even read it yet, but I've heard it's fantastic. And Sci-Fi Channel has been doing pretty good work. They did Happy, Grant Morrison's adaptation, which is fantastic. And I'm looking forward to watching that. Yeah. I'll probably binge it once, they get a good chunk of it done.
See Danger, loved Umbrella Academy. Want you guys to cover that soon. We'll probably cover. We already did a show about Umbrella Academy, the comic, on our first season. I think it's pretty strong. I went back and watched it the other day. That was pretty good. It was an all-encompassing kind of thing about what was it? The Apocalypse Suite and not Hotel Oblivion, but Dallas.
Dallas.
So I thought that was pretty good.
Doing any Enos works anytime soon? The Boys, War Stories, Crossed.
Not Crossed. Crossed sucks. I hate Crossed. I know we like to say pause on the show, but I hate that fucking comic. I'm sorry.
We've both started The Boys, and that's another one coming out. My God, we got a lot of stuff coming.
That was on the docket to maybe drop in sometime this year, but it is kind of big.
Yeah, so I don't think I could do the whole thing, but maybe like a couple volumes.
Yeah, that sounds okay. We'll see.
I feel like I've read the first 3 volumes, maybe like 2 or 3 times.
I know I've read the first 5.
And I never really want to go further than that. I've got them all digitally. I got like a Humble Bundle once. Sometime maybe.
What? Can you scroll up in the chat a little bit, Dave?
I think it's all down. This?
That's the one.
Has anyone else watched Deadly Class? Anyone?
Is it worth diving into?
Yeah,
is it worth the hype?
I've heard Remender is heavily involved, which is good. Whether you like it or not, that is what he wants on screen. So, got to give him credit for that. There we go.
If you do chime into the review podcast, which I do with JT, we are reviewing Umbrella Academy next Monday, so you have a little bit more time to watch and get caught up on it. And if you want to write into the show, do it by Wednesday, because then we will read your letter on the show.
Ben Chambers, have you done a Preacher episode? We did a poorly done Preacher episode in our first season. When we first started the show, we had a tendency to go in like planning on recording maybe 1 or 2 episodes that we read, and then we'd just be having a good time. We'd be like, what else you want to talk about?
Let's do another one.
Swamp Thing? Sure. I read that 2 years ago. Let's do that. Who would have thought that'd be one of our like highest viewed episodes? But we did do a Preacher one along those lines. And it had been years since I had read it. And since that episode, I had reread it. And I'm like, man, I wish I would have talked about more on that book. So we did do an episode. It was probably right when the show premiered like 2 years ago. I'm not terribly satisfied with it, so I don't know if we would ever do another one, but I love the book.
Yeah.
And it has some amazing moments that I wish we would have talked about more in it. But yeah, great book.
If ever we get the chance, it would be like a fun, almost like year-long book club. We could do 1 trade a month to do like a year of Preacher or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a big ask to read Preacher all year. That's kind of,
yeah. I don't know. What was it, 9 trades?
It's like 9 or 10, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. But I would like to read again. I've read it multiple times. I really like it.
Yeah. I wasn't satisfied with the ending when I reread it, but there are moments in it that I absolutely love. Like some of the single issues, one in particular that stuck with me was Cassidy's reminiscing of his buddies in New York when he first came to America.
Mhm.
Is like, I think, one of the best comic book issues of all
Yeah,
time.
it's really good.
I hope they adapt that into the show because it's fantastic, and it could just be a single episode, no context.
Mm-hmm. Anything else? Ooh, Sea Danger might be joining that review upcoming Monday. Check it out then. All right. I think
We're
that's
winding down.
pretty much going to do it. I need to get headed home.
Why,
See
you
the
gotta
old
work or something?
Somebody has to work around here.
This doesn't pay the bills.
But thanks everyone for joining us. I'm glad people stuck around for some Q&A afterwards. We'll see you next month where we wrap up Doom Patrol
That's right.
with volumes 5 and 6
Yeah.
of Morrison's run.
Yeah, I wish I had the
50 through
issues
50
here.
through 67, I think.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, exactly.
51 through 67.
Yep. And we'll play it out in style. We'll think of something fun to do for the grand finale
Yeah.
of Mr. Morrison's arc.
Oh, get some chocolate bars.
Oh my god!
Can you imagine, guys, get chocolate and then fucking blow up Twitter with just you eating chocolate watching the live stream. That would be amazing. I love the idea. Woo!
I don't know what we'd hashtag it. Joshua Chocolate.
The Joshua tree.
Joshua
so everyone's
chocolate.
confused about what YouTube thing is going on.
Yes. Yep. That is the ask of the community. Yes, so we will play Doom Patrol out next month, March. And until then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until then, I've been Toward the Max Extreme.
And I've been Ghost Hunter Dave.
This has been another Imperious Rex live stream Mysterious Book Club.
That's right.
We'll see you in March.
Thank you for being a part of it.
Yes.
Now watch as we awkwardly fumble to end the live stream. Yes, I want to end it. Come on.